Accidents can happen any time, and you have to expect the unexpected. We've all experienced traffic jams like this, but as the car population continues to grow, we're increasingly likely to encounter the unexpected. To combat reckless driving, the police are developing more and more sophisticated ways of recording bad driving. This programme brings you more incidents captured on camera by Britain's police of some of the common and less common examples of thoughtless and careless driving, and their consequences. Spotted doing a U-turn on a busy motorway, the Metropolitan Police were more than a little baffled as to what this white car was trying to achieve. As the driver emerged and headed toward the cones, they wondered whether he might be from the government's cone hotline on an unofficial check. His true intention, incredible as it might seem, soon became clearer and clearer, as gradually a path through the cones, large enough for a car to pass, was cleared. Fed up with the slow pace of traffic in the direction he was travelling, the driver chose to abandon any notion of good sense and attempted to join the other carriageway. The fact that the cones were there as a warning and a deterrent was simply ignored. Once through, the driver has to negotiate a perilous re-entry into the traffic flow, made especially dangerous because, of course, he has to join the fast-moving traffic in the outside lane. When the driver was later pulled over by police, he explained he had no idea that his manoeuvre was illegal and hadn't realised what the cones indicated. But then, it was his first trip to Britain, from the Ukraine. Cones, road signs and markings are there for a purpose and meant to be heeded. But this speeding motorist barely slows down as he approaches a built-up area and completely ignores that 40-mile-an-hour limit. He's totally unprepared when a dog crosses the road in front of him. This impatient white escort disregards the road markings, just to save a few seconds, but lost far more time when he was stopped by the police. But however frustrating being held up can be, the hard shoulder is not meant for overtaking. Flouting the rules of the road like this can hamper rescue operations for drivers who really need to use it. Fortunately, no one was driving towards this convoy, as this driver ignores the double white lines on a blind bend. The results could have been catastrophic.
A car in flames is mercifully something you see more often in the movies than in real life. Nevertheless, our vehicles do contain large quantities of highly flammable materials. And whilst an exploding fuel tank may be rare, fires do happen, and often for the most mundane of reasons. A leaking fuel cap, an electrical fault, or a cigarette not extinguished properly can often lead to a highly dangerous situation.
This camper van has just caught fire. Its two occupants have managed to salvage a few bits from it, but all they can do now is watch forlornly from a distance until help arrives. If your car ever catches fire when you're driving, the safest thing to do is stop, get out of the car as soon as possible, and call the fire brigade. Trying to deal with the situation yourself often makes things worse. Opening the bonnet fans the flames, as the fire will only get bigger when it has access to more oxygen. And most car-sized fire extinguishers are sorely inadequate for the job they're designed for, so don't bank on them. We'd also do well to follow the example of these van owners, who've taken the wise precaution of standing well away from the blaze. The speed at which it spreads is quite astonishing. In the space of 3 minutes, this van has turned from a cloud of smoke into an inferno. Now watch what happens as the white lorry drives past. An exploding petrol tank can easily throw dangerous metal debris across the width of a motorway carriageway. In this particular case, the fire brigade were on the scene within 15 minutes, but it was too late to save this van, which is by now completely gutted. But the danger is never past until the fire is out, and sometimes even the professionals are taken by surprise. And it's not just the petrol tank that can explode. Watch the tyre on the front of the van. With clouds of smoke threatening the safety of other drivers, the police take the extra precaution of closing the 3 lanes of the motorway until the danger is past. The prompt and intelligent reaction of the occupants saved their lives, but their prized possession is reduced to a burnt-out shell. Here, a lorry has caught fire on the M25, and the police are again concerned for the safety of other drivers. The fire brigade has been called, but in the meantime, 2 officers attempt to deal with the blaze themselves. Unable to stop its spread, they instruct the driver to unhook the tractor unit and drive it from the load. The police also withdraw in order to close off nearby lanes, thus keeping the public from potential danger and to give the fire brigade room to manoeuvre. By the time the firefighters arrive, the lorry is well and truly ablaze. As the cargo of packed cardboard burns, it also billows out clouds of thick smoke, which could have proved extremely dangerous had the wind been blowing in the opposite direction. If you come across a burning vehicle on the motorway like this, the police have several recommendations. If smoke is blocking the motorway, treat it like fog. Slow down and put on your lights. If there are flames, then keep your distance. Change lanes away from the blaze if you can do safely.
It's got a rear side gone, but we may be able to swap it round.
It may be tempting to slow down and have a look, but you can put yourself and others in danger. When I was learning to drive, the moment I dreaded most was having to practice reversing around corners. Having to worry about oncoming traffic, having to twist around in your seat so you can see through the rear window, making steering even more difficult. It's a manoeuvre fraught with dangers and difficulties, and one that you should only attempt if you're absolutely certain that other road users are not compromised. Something this next driver obviously forgot. Seeing congestion on the motorway up ahead, this driver has decided the best way out of trouble is to reverse back up the slip road. The driver then waits to rejoin the roundabout, but manages to choose the worst possible moment.
Gosh, Drew, that was close, wasn't it?
The driver of this white car has missed his turning, but obviously thinks it'll be quicker to turn back than drive up to the next junction. So he's decided to reverse along the hard shoulder. Perhaps he underestimated just how far he'd driven, as the reverse goes on, and on, and yet still further on. He'd been reversing for so long, the police patrol car had had a chance to drive from motorway control a few miles away. He was sent back in the direction he came from, with a few extra points on his licence. Now watch out for the black cab travelling in between the cones in the middle lane. He may have studied the knowledge, but it seems in this case a little learning is a bad thing. Cabs may have special dispensation to use bus lanes, but not the hard shoulder. As he reverses into oncoming traffic, a shocked motorist can be seen flashing his lights. The cab's licence plate was caught on camera. The only tip he got for this journey was from the police. And this driver's actions amount to near suicidal stupidity, especially with the road wet with rain. Having nearly frightened himself to death, the driver gives up on his manoeuvre and rejoins the carriageway until he can exit at the next junction. The driver of a broken-down car needed to get
Ground with invaluable assistance.
In our next clip, the aircraft gives a runaway car thief no respite. Even when he manages to evade momentarily his pursuers on the ground, the helicopter remains on his tail. It's then a simple matter of coordinating the ground forces to close in on him.
Yeah, MP4 and all units of Engine 99, it is now on tape,
Taunton Road towards Lombard roundabout. Over.
Taunton Road, received.
Passing MFI on the left-hand side. We've got Martin Crescent on the left. Papa 4 in front of us. 80 mile an hour. Indian 99 above.
The light is fading on this April evening in Croydon. But at the speeds the fugitive is travelling, the glowing white engine and tyres prove an easy target for the thermal imaging camera to follow.
The left-hand side of the roundabout. Now Mitchell Road towards Croydon.
Mitchell Road, received.
Another Oscar unit at the junction, right.
The right of the junction, Indian 99, please.
Yeah, straight on, same direction. You've now got another Oscar unit 200 metres behind. Approaching roundabout, dog van at the roundabout. Blocking in traffic, MP. Blocking in traffic, wrong siding. And he's taking the fourth exit. So units go right, past the bus. That's it, Oscar units go right now. That's it.
We can see the bird of a traffic light just turning to green.
Wait, Oscar 417, confirm Mitcham Road, Emperor.
Sumner Road, he's just carrying on southbound now.
Right. Next right, Oscar units, next right.
Yes, received.
And first right. Stand by. Nearly lost it. I think he's going to abandon it. He's now going north, going right. Go right.
The road is in, Emperor.
It was the first
Left units.
turn left again now.
Right, he's gone left again. Hits one parked vehicle, MP. Accelerating back towards the gasometers towards IKEA. Okay, Lima, yeah, you got him. Take over the commentary.
He's at another option, goes one other.
Right, he's just missed about 15 children on the pavement into a cul-de-sac. Units into a cul-de-sac, stand by. Out of the vehicle. He's gone straight to a driveway. That's it straight ahead.
On the ground with the name of the road, Emperor.
Go first left up the footpath towards the railway station. Left, guys. Left, and right at the end. Left. He's run up a footpath, MP, and he's parallel to the railway station, hiding in a garden.
In the garden?
Yeah, male IC1, long black coat, blue jeans, grey top. Units at the crossroads go right. Right, dog van. Run up the alleyway. He's walking slowly on the footpath by the railway track up towards the flyover. He's now running past the garages. The police officers have got to get behind the houses, and go for the flyover.
There goes the vehicle series.
Can any...
MP99, he's now running up the steps on the side of the flyover.
DN99, stand by just for 1 second. Can I have the road where the vehicle has decamped in, Emperor?
Solo, stop, Solo, stop, he's on your left. That's him. Solo, go forward 15 metres, that's him on the bridge. Solo, that's him, half left now. That's him, you got him.
And after the inevitable arrest will come the inevitable prison sentence.
They've now been detained, MP. Plenty of units on scene.
It's never too early to learn the rules of the road. And with 25% of road deaths involving young people under the age of 21, education is clearly the best way of cutting accidents and reducing casualties. Here at Birchwood School in Hertfordshire, the young drivers of tomorrow are learning the principles of road safety through a series of simple exercises. This simulation of a motorway pile-up clearly demonstrates to the children the value of stopping distances and the importance of watching what's happening up ahead. Some grown-ups on the road could do well to pay attention.
High streets full of shops and people can be a tempting distraction for the driver. But keep your eyes on the road ahead as the oncoming traffic slows down. The consequences are far more costly than window shopping. The scenery may have changed, but just watch the junction coming up on the left. The result of not being aware on the road, wherever you happen to be driving, is always the same. Now watch the speed clock on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. The legal limit for towing a trailer on the motorway is 60 miles an hour, but the driver seems quite oblivious to this restriction. Anyone driving at over 80 miles an hour is breaking the law by a wide margin, and when they're towing a trailer, they're being downright dangerous. At these speeds, it's hardly surprising that the driver fails to react in time to a wave of slow-moving traffic in front of him. When joining the motorway, this driver seemed more preoccupied with moving rapidly into the outside lane than with watching what was happening up ahead. He crashes through a line of cones, scattering them across the carriageway. He may be worried he's scratched his paintwork, but cones strewn across other lanes are causing chaos and confusion to drivers behind him, which could have resulted in far greater damage. This police car near Belfast was ensuring the safe passage of an abnormally wide load along a narrow country lane, when this speeding motorist came tearing round a blind bend. The unexpected procession caused the driver to momentarily lose control of his car. Concerned for everyone's safety, the police turned their vehicle around to find the car they've just seen speeding toward them, facing the other way behind them and on the other side of the road. When this large storage drum fell onto a motorway near Leatherhead, the driver got things right. Rather than trying to recover the load himself, he called to the police for assistance, who helped remove the potential hazard. Further up the motorway, the police have slowed traffic down to allow these officers to remove it safely. Do remember, traffic police are there to help, as well as to enforce the law. And here, they were even prepared to help shift something that had fallen off the back of a lorry. Something that is always a safe bet to provide the unexpected hazard to the British motorist is the British weather. A sudden strong wind had blown this truck onto its side. Enlisting the support of a recovery vehicle, the police soon unblocked this lane of a Surrey motorway. But not all incidents are cleared up so quickly. When his car broke down, this man pulled onto the hard shoulder to call the police on his mobile phone. But it didn't work, so he had to get out and use the emergency telephone. Inconvenient at the time, but it saved his life. While he was on the phone, 2 lorries drove headlong into his car. A third of motorway accidents happen on the hard shoulder. If you break down, the best thing to do is to get out of your vehicle. If this makes you feel unsafe, sit in the passenger seat but keep your eyes fixed on the rearview mirror so you can get out quickly.
Like a first kiss, everyone remembers their first car, even if it was an old jalopy. Whatever the make, colour, cost or condition, hours of deliberation will go into choosing what is one of our most expensive single purchases. All of which makes it doubly mystifying why some people treat their most prized possession so carelessly the minute they get out on the road.
Not ensuring the car doors are closed can be a costly mistake. All this driver lost were a few personal belongings. But imagine if there'd been a child in the back. One way of losing your prized possession is to drink and drive. The driver in the car in front of this car was 3 times over the legal limit when he suddenly turned right in front of the oncoming traffic. Not only was the car an insurance write-off, the driver lost his licence. The driver of this car won't be keeping his licence long if he carries on driving like this. Careless driving will cost you between 3 and 9 points on your licence. 12 and you're banned. One of the most dangerous ways of driving on the road is by weaving in and out of the traffic to try and get ahead. Not only was this Capri driver threatening the safety of other road users, but he soon attracted the attention of the police.
Making little signs out the window now. Is he? Yeah. Coming off here? Be good. You, stop!
Not all racing drivers drive Formula One cars. These 2 ageing vans are determined not to let the other get ahead. This selfish behaviour is extremely dangerous and can cause accidents. For 6 miles, these 2 vans monopolised both lanes of the carriageway, preventing traffic from passing until eventually the box van gives in. And this van is indicating to turn left, or is it right? Wrongly wired taillights suggest both options. Other road users, beware. And finally, the unexpected hazards of the road can prove too much for some drivers, particularly if they're caught in a traffic jam on a hot August afternoon. But taking your frustrations out on others is not a good idea. Were it not for this female tag team wrestling some sense into Mr. Angry, he could have faced a more serious charge than a traffic violation.
Hold me close, don't let me go. Oh no, you and me. Yes, I love it, we'll stop at the show. Do you know, with your love light shining clearly, it's so good to have you near me. So hold me close, don't let me go.
Between lanes 2 and 3. Takes us 120 miles an hour. Directly under the helicopter now. 230 southbound.
Collisions like this should never happen. But take your mind off the road for a split second, and it's all too often the result. The sheer quantity of accidents filmed by the police demonstrates that driver behaviour behind the wheel still leaves plenty of scope for improvement. Even a momentary lapse of concentration can have tragic consequences. Everyone seems so sure that they're the safest of drivers, yet human error is responsible for 95% of the accidents on our roads. So no matter how cautious we think we are, in reality, safety is seldom our primary concern. This driver failed to adapt his driving to the weather conditions. He had a narrow escape. It's a wet, grey November morning. The slippery surface on this motorway should ring alarm bells with all motorists. But watch the middle lane. If stopping distances and speed requirements had been observed by these drivers, this accident might have been avoided. There's now the additional danger of a stationary car in the middle lane. Hampshire Police act promptly to try and move it, but extra help is needed. Delays for all drivers on this stretch of motorway are now inevitable. The police officer couldn't ignore this yellow Alfa Romeo and flamboyantly coloured motorbike when they sped onto the carriageway in front of him. Watch the clock at the bottom right-hand corner of the picture. These two vehicles are travelling way above the speed limit in their battle to discover whether two wheels are better than four. It's a busy road, and before long the pair are forced by other vehicles travelling at more realistic speeds to slow down, giving the police officer the opportunity to read and report the number plates. But that wasn't the end of the story.
The bike at the back is J. Juliet. Hotel Papa Juliet is the yellow Alpha, and the bike, which is now starting to go for it.
And go for it he did. When the motorcyclist sees the police car, he foolishly tries to get away. But as you'll hear, he did have a very good reason for not wanting to be caught. The patrol car has difficulty keeping a pace. The speed clock continues to rise.
I've lost sight of him as we're approaching Barking. He's not gone over the bridge now, he's going towards Barking itself, towards Barking. 104 over.
The Metropolitan Police found out later why the motorcyclist was so determined to get away. He was a driving instructor and certainly didn't want to be discovered driving recklessly.
He's getting away from me, obviously he's on a solo.
Can you shut your window? I can hardly hear you on your two tones.
Yeah, I'm on my own and it's a hands-free set, MP. He's gone left, round towards the back of Barking by the looks of it. Stand by, I'll be with you in just a second.
Towards the rear of Barking Town Centre, that's all we see. Indian 99, all we've got is a large Japanese motorcycle and a J plate.
It's multicoloured, I've got him again. We're now going towards the back of Barking Station, towards Longbridge Road. Very, very quick.
Unfortunately, this pursuit ended in the same way as many pursuits do.
Multicoloured, over. I'm now... oh, he's off, he's come off, he's off. At the roundabout down by Barking, where Barking and Longbridge Road meet. Can I have another unit, please? And a garage sergeant for Vicinity Only Pollack. Get against the wall!
The cyclist lost control, his licence and his job.
The mobile phone is one of the more recent threats to road safety the police have to tackle. And although there's no doubt they can be useful if you break down or need to call for help, they are bound to distract you from your driving.
Even if you can use your phone without taking your hands off the wheel, the only really safe way to talk is to find an appropriate place to stop. Because, as you're about to see, keeping mobile while you phone can only lead to trouble.
When the South Yorkshire Police first spotted this car, it was travelling in the middle lane of the motorway at 65 miles an hour. There's an animated telephone conversation going on, and the driver is paying scant attention to the road in front of him. It's little wonder then that he fails to notice his reduction in speed is beginning to cause problems for the drivers behind. Alerted by some erratic driving, police homed in on this car. By the time the driver realised he was being observed, it was too late. The driver of this Jeep was spotted by police using his mobile phone, and although he manages to negotiate the roundabout with reasonable success, eventually all roads hold dangers for those not paying attention. With his mind far from the road, he fails to spot a potential danger that we can see up ahead.
Oh, yes, well, that's good enough evidence. That's good enough evidence.
That's without due care.
He may have escaped a crash, but not the police. He was penalised for driving without due care and attention. In their rearview mirror, West Mercia police noticed a van being driven erratically and turned their camera around to record it on video. The driver is certainly unaware of the camera, and with his attention diverted by writing in his order book, he's largely unaware of the road ahead. It's clearly dangerous and is an offence the police take extremely seriously. It cost this driver a £120 fine and 6 points on his licence. And don't try and sort out your route en route like this driver, as it will lead you into the arms of the law. Wear and tear on police patrol cars is inevitable, but thanks to their specialist teams of mechanics, you should never see a police vehicle on the roads in a state of disrepair. Driving an unroadworthy vehicle is illegal. It can also be life-threatening. And although that expression roadworthy is open to a degree of interpretation, the police felt that the student driving this car was definitely suffering from an overactive imagination. The Mini attracted the attention of police in Poole because they were concerned by its poor condition. Between the excessive rust, the wings flapping in the wind, the holes in the chassis and the defective lights, it was more a question of what was right with it rather than what was wrong with it. The Dorset police weren't surprised to learn that the owner of the car had paid just £5 for it. What did surprise them, however, was that they'd managed to drive it 75 miles from Bristol. There was no way the police were going to let them drive it back again. The students didn't get charged, but the car had to be scrapped there and then. But our impoverished scholars left happy. They got £10 more from the scrapyard than the £5 they'd paid for it. When the police first spotted this driver, travelling at over 50 miles an hour on the motorway, with his hand perpetually raised to the roof, they were concerned and curious. They decided to follow, and all soon became clear.
Can't even see now, look.
With sponges, chamois leather and ladders hanging over the car, it wouldn't take an aspiring Sherlock Holmes long to deduce the profession of these intrepid entrepreneurs driving their red Capri. What is more difficult to fathom is why a bucket had been so strategically placed as to obscure the driver's vision. This wide load was correctly secured and fitted with all proper hazard warnings. Its police escort was standing by to ensure a safe journey. In fact, every eventuality had been catered for. Or so they thought.
I'm on the scene, Unit 250. Yeah, we won't be going anywhere with this load. He's just scrapped a boat taken out of the Avlo Bay and dislodged its load. Unit 250.
And the Irish may be renowned for their dancing, but who'd have imagined the local plant machinery in Belfast also knew a jig or two? Technology may allow the police to see in the dark, but unfortunately our eyesight is not blessed with the same capabilities. Driving at night considerably reduces visibility, and reaction times to unexpected and unforeseen hazards is much shorter. So nighttime driving requires much greater alertness on the part of the driver and not complacency. And although the roads may seem emptier, your mistakes will not pass unnoticed, as this next driver discovered. When the police saw this car, they needed proof that their eyes weren't deceiving them. So it's just as well there are cameras operating all through the night on most of the M25. Not only is the driver travelling along the hard shoulder, but also in the wrong direction. And if that wasn't madness enough, when the driver was pulled over by the police, they discovered he was an unaccompanied learner driver. It may be an easy mistake to make, but it's one this man is unlikely ever to make again. He left his briefcase on the roof of his car at the beginning of his journey, and it chose the most inopportune moment to dislodge itself and spill the contents over the tarmac. Even if this driver had not been on a motorway slip road, a bend or junction is not the best place to stop. And getting out of the car and dodging across busy motorways in front of cars travelling at some speed is extremely foolish. He should have used the emergency telephone to call for police assistance. But the only thing on this driver's mind was retrieving his belongings. Is a handful of paperwork really worth risking your life for? Both these cars have overtaken the police patrol car at over 100 miles an hour, but that's still not fast enough for the red Renault. Watch the speed clock in the bottom right-hand corner. Having so dramatically attracted the police's attention, there was no avoiding a heavy fine. But it's not just high speeds that cause problems. At a halting and hesitating 27 miles an hour, this Metro's approach to the motorway is disconcerting and dangerous for other drivers. Once on the carriageway, nothing seems to have improved. Not content with the inside lane, the driver changes lanes without indicating, and still at a hazardously low speed. But however impatient another driver makes you feel, or how rushed you are, there is simply no excuse for trying to intimidate them. Unfortunately for the driver of this lorry, the car he got heavy with belonged to the Cheshire Police. Road rage has become the popular phrase used to describe aggressive behaviour on the roads. Here, keep your eyes on the middle lane. The pickup truck is trying to scare the driver in front into getting out of the way. But even when that car changes lane, the pickup is still trying to get his revenge.
In our next remarkable clip, two traffic policemen are out on patrol and notice that the car in front is being driven erratically. When they see that the driver isn't wearing a seatbelt, they decide they'll have a word. This proved to be more difficult than expected, but it's a classic example of how the evidence captured on police video cameras can prove crucial in the subsequent court case. Retracing their steps using this video and the police patrolman's commentary, they were able to identify and recover the items that were thrown from the car. Now, if you watch closely, you'll see that these include bags of drugs, handfuls of money, even a machete. But during the course of this pursuit, the police were threatened with something even more extraordinary.
MP from
noise.
The operation to stop this fleeing car was carefully coordinated by senior officers at base, using the vital information radioed to them from the patrol car in pursuit. Crucial details about the vehicle, its speed and direction were passed on, as well as information about its occupants.
The vehicle is a black Austin Metro that's travelling towards Bushy Heath, Stanmore Hill. Two occupants, male IC1s. The passenger near side door is open. Chasing, watch the door. Still chasing the vehicle northbound towards Bushy Heath, Stanmore Hill. It looks they're trying to drop a dog out the near side door, over. So it's one of those things that bite you. It's one of those ones that bite you. Bull terrier. Not pit bull, it's no English word. That's a pit bull. Still travelling towards Bushy Heath.
It seems that there were no lengths to which these criminals would not go to try and get the police off their tail. By threatening to throw the dog under the wheels of the police car, they were hoping to put them off. When this didn't work, they decided to get rid of all potentially incriminating evidence from the car.
He's dropping stuff out of the vehicle. I think he's just trying to put the driver off. There's a lot of debris coming out of the vehicle. The near side driver's door, near side passenger door is open. Just entering the roundabout with the A41. He's going straight across the roundabout towards the fisheries. Elstree Road towards the fisheries, towards Elstree.
The police didn't realise what was being thrown from the car until they'd reviewed the tape afterwards. What they thought was just debris jettisoned from the vehicle to put them off turned out to be far more incriminating.
Metro 1300. Wrong side of the road, nearly got caught by a bus. He's actually in the fisheries. Just going past the public house in the fisheries, overtaking on the wrong side, double white lines.
In pursuits like this, where reckless and dangerous driving is becoming a threat to others on the road, the police's main priority is to stop the car as quickly as possible. It often becomes more than a traffic matter and will involve other branches of the police service.
Go, go, go! Just past the panda car, coming the opposite way. It's coming up to the traffic lights in the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. The lights are changing to red.
So you're heading north, until?
Yeah, we're heading north. Straight across the red light, nearly hit a panda car. Get out of the way! Yeah, he's still carrying on north. He's going towards the Borewood area.
The longer the criminals continue to flee, the easier it becomes for the police coordinators to mobilise their forces, making an arrest inevitable. More and more police vehicles have joined in the pursuit, and gradually all potential escape routes for the fugitives are covered.
Passenger door open, he's still waving the dog at us. What's your brakes? He's doing a left into the field. He's in the field.
The villains may think they've got away across the field, but it's quickly surrounded. They were caught and were given a long prison sentence.
Dick here will soon be taking a break. So far today he's been on the road for almost 4.5 hours, and the law dictates that for a long-distance lorry driver, that's long enough, without a breather. As private motorists, you and I are restrained by nothing more than good sense. But with between 5 and 10% of road accidents having tiredness as a factor, then falling asleep at the wheel is a serious road safety issue. So next time you're on a long journey and you begin to feel tired, don't be tempted just to wind down the window, turn up the radio and chat to your passenger. Take a break, as this next driver should have done.
Watch out for the blue car up ahead in the overtaking lane. The driver momentarily loses control, but luckily manages to avoid a major accident. You can see the effect of this driver dozing if you watch the wheels of the car. And instead of waiting until they'd stopped, these drivers are about to pass a book from one car to another on the move. Even if it was a gripping read, these tempting shortcuts put others' lives at risk. What we can't see, but this van driver clearly can, is a cyclist just in front of him. So eager is the driver to get to his destination that he's prepared to pretend the cyclist isn't there. As we approach the zebra crossing and pull up for the woman to cross, keep your eye on the left of the screen.
Hello?
overtaken on the approach to a PEDX. Faint record precedence, etc. etc. etc.
Got the blues on, Ren.
It's on.
It's got no CBR, he's in a dead rush, yeah. Done it again.
And again.
Got it, nice.
This time he narrowly misses an old lady. In the space of a minute he's committed the same...